Hey y'all, I'm Tracy. Welcome back to Just Dig It Farms. Today we're back in my kitchen and we're going to continue diving into herbalism. So last week we made a beautiful herb-infused oil together. And this week we're going to take that oil and turn it into a wonderful healing salve. To make an herbal salve, first you need to make your herb-infused oil. Last week I did a very extensive and detailed video explaining to you everything that you need to know to make this beautiful infused herbal oil. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and stop this one, go back and watch it, and when you're finished with it, come back and finish watching this one so you'll know how to turn this into a wonderful healing salve. Once you've created your herb-infused oil, now you're ready to make your salve. And there's a few ingredients that you're gonna need. Okay, you're gonna need your herb-infused oil. You're gonna need some beeswax. You're gonna need a double boiler. Now you can make your own. You don't have to have a fancy one. You can just make one yourself with a bigger pot for the bottom and a smaller pot for the top. You're gonna need a glass measure cup or bowl or something with a pour spout on it. You're going to need essential oils, which these are optional. You don't have to use essential oils if you don't want to, but I always love to add a few to all of my salves. Vitamin E oil. And you're going to need a container to put your salve, to pour your salve into. So you could use one of these tins, you could use a glass jar, or if you're making lip balms, you could use a lip balm tube. So these are your basic ingredients that you're gonna need to make our salve. The two main ingredients for making a salve is your herb-infused oil and beeswax. Now this beeswax has multiple benefits in it as well for your skin. We are beekeepers. We've been beekeepers for, I think we're going on 9 or 10 years now, and we love our honeybees. The more you learn about honeybees and the more you watch them, it would just blow your mind. They are so amazing. I think you'll find this very interesting. The honeybee makes its comb from beeswax by creating these little geometrical hexagonal shapes in the colony, in your box or just out in the wild. It makes its comb out of this beeswax. And then inside those little hexagonal shapes that it makes, first of all, the fact that it creates perfect geometrical hexagon shapes is mind-blowing. Then the honeybee takes and fills those shapes up with honey and brood. Brood is just baby bee larvae to increase the population of the hive. The way the honeybee makes the beeswax is amazing as well. So the worker bees, which are just the female bees are the only ones that do all the work. The male bees are only there to procreate, to impregnate the queen bee. And the queen's only job is to lay eggs. So the female bees are the worker bees and they do all of the work. So what they do is they secrete wax from these special wax glands that they have underneath their abdomen. When this wax comes out, it's like a liquid. It hardens up pretty quickly. It solidifies pretty quickly. Then she collects the wax from her abdomen with her little legs, and then she masticates the wax until it's formed and shapes it, and then she creates these little hexagonal shapes for the honeycomb. Now that's pretty cool. We all know that honey has so many incredible benefits for us. So does pollen, so does propolis, so does the royal jelly, and so does the beeswax. So everything within the beehive that the honeybee creates, most of it comes from either the anatomy of the bee or from nature. And it all has So many benefits for the honeybee and for us. So just a few of the benefits of beeswax is it's been known to help with swelling, inflammation, lower cholesterol, protect the liver, clear acne, fungal infections, protect and repair dry, rough, cracked skin, help acne, eczema, psoriasis. So many benefits to this beeswax. So when you're creating an herbal salve, you've got this wonderful herb-infused oil with all of these different herbs that have so many wonderful benefits. You used a carrier oil that has so many wonderful benefits, which we talked about last week's video. You're using beeswax, which has so many wonderful benefits for your skin and your body. And you can add other things. Essential oils has medicinal benefits. So the herbal salves that we're making are just packed full of so many wonderful benefits from plant medicine and nature, and that is a beautiful thing. Now let's talk about the difference in your herb-infused oil and essential oils. Now I use Young Living. I've been using Young Living probably for 20 years. I don't even know how long, but I really believe they're a great, reputable company, and that's just who I've always used. There's many different good essential oil companies out there. Just make sure you do some research and you're using one that does not use synthetic fillers in their essential oils, but they're using only the oils from the plants. Essential oils and your herb-infused oils are all produced from plant materials. Your herb-infused oil is created by steeping your herbs, your plant materials, in a carrier oil and letting that carrier oil extract the constituents and properties from the plant material. Your essential oils are highly concentrated plant extracts through a distillation process or a cold pressing process. To enhance your salves and make them even better, you can always add different essential oils. And each essential oil has the benefits that the plant has. So you're just adding more incredible medicinal benefits to your salve. Plus these have high fragrance. They're used a lot for aromatherapy, super high in fragrance, and this just also makes your salves smell really good. And we have vitamin E oil. I talked about this a lot in last week's video and shared all the benefits with you of vitamin E oil. I also showed you that whenever I'm making an herb-infused oil, whenever I've decanted it or strained it off and I've got my completed herb-infused oil, I add some drops of vitamin E oil, and that helps to reduce the oxidation and helps it stay shelf stable longer. Now, whenever I do that, but also whenever I'm making my salves, I always add a couple of teaspoons of vitamin E oil to that as well. I don't think you can have too much vitamin E oil, and the more we can add, the more benefits we're going to have to our salve, but also the more shelf stable and longer our oils and our salves will last. Today, I'm just going to share with you a very simple and basic recipe to make an herbal salve. Now, you can adjust this recipe however you want to. You can add different things to it, like shea butters, castor oils, coconut butters, different essential oils. You can adjust it however you want to. So the basic salve recipe is 1 ounce of beeswax to 4 ounces of your herb-infused oil. That's simple. 1 ounce to 4 ounces. And if you want your salve to be a little bit firmer, then you can add a little bit more beeswax. If you want your salve to be a little more softer, then you can add a little more oil or a little less beeswax. And a good way to test that is when you first make your little batch with the basic recipe. Take a cold spoon, put a little oil on it, stick it in your freezer for 1 to 2 minutes, and then test it out and see if you like that firmness. If you want it softer, add a little more oil. If you want it firmer, add a little more beeswax. And you can adjust this recipe any way you want to. You can create so many different salves with different benefits based on this one basic salve recipe. Like I said earlier, we're beekeepers, so I save all of our wax and we render it down ourselves, and I render it into these 1 ounce beeswax bars. That just works perfectly for me in all of my recipes, because I know without having to measure or weigh or anything, I know that this is exactly 1 ounce. You can buy 1 ounce bars from different companies. Mountain Rose Herbs has it, Bulk Apothecary has it, Amazon has it. You can also buy the little pastels, I think pastels is what they're called. They're little wax chips. You can buy those, but I have heard and read from different herbalists that for some reason, they seem to go rancid quicker. I don't know what they do, because beeswax lasts forever, like it never goes bad. So I don't know what the companies do to it, but for some reason those little wax pellets, a lot of herbalists have heard them say that they go rancid quicker. So be careful and make sure you're purchasing your beeswax from somebody that is a reputable company. We make our own, so I know this is the best beeswax you can get. The first thing we're going to do is we've got our double boiler pot here. This is just the bottom pot. I'm going to put it on my stovetop and turn it on and get that to a rolling boil. Okay, once we've got our water to a boil, we're going to turn it down. I'm going to put my second pot on top here. Put my 1 ounce of beeswax bar in there and let it melt. Once our beeswax has completely melted, we're going to turn our heat down. We're going to add our herb-infused oil, 4 ounces of our herb-infused oil, and we're going to let this get combined and melted. Once you get your herb-infused oil melted into your beeswax completely, then you're going to need to work quickly, because it will solidify fast. So once it's completely melted and incorporated, we want to turn the heat off. And you want to remove it completely from the heat. I usually put it on a pot holder. And I also spread out some wax paper, and that way that just helps me keep from getting wax all over my countertops, makes it harder to clean up. We do want to work quickly, so we're going to go ahead and add our vitamin E oil. I like to add 2 teaspoons of vitamin E oil. This is just a half a teaspoon, so I actually got to add 4 of these. I can't find my teaspoon. Okay, stir that in. Now we're going to add our essential oils. I'm using lavender and chamomile because these are both great for skin. So the recipe is about, for the 1 ounce of beeswax, 4 ounces of herb-infused oil, you want to use about 10 to 20 drops or so of essential oil. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I always use a little more. So I'm using 15 of lavender, and I'm going to use 10 chamomile. I always use a little more. All right. You just tweak your recipe the way you want it. Go based off the way it smells, the consistency of it, the way it feels on your skin. This is just a basic recipe, basic guidelines, but you take this recipe and you tweak it the way you want it to be. You got to move quick. It's already starting to try to solidify in this bowl here. Then you're just going to pour this up into your tins or jars. We're going to let this sit until it completely solidifies and gets solid before we put our lid on. Just let it sit here. And that made us about 3 2-ounce tins. Once it gets completely hard and solid, we'll put our lid on and we'll make a pretty label for this. And this will actually store for 1 to 3 years in a cool location. Now, of course, when you expose this to prolonged period of heat, if you leave it in your car or leave it outside, it's gonna melt, it's gonna liquefy. So you wanna try to keep this stored in a cool spot. And right before it gets completely solid, I like to put a few little calendula and lavender flowers on top, just to make it pretty. And then I just kind of press it in a little bit. So I've pretty much been inside all day long today working on creating a bunch of herbal salves to take to our event next weekend. It's the Great Fall Garden Festival at Petals from the Past in Jemison, Alabama on Saturday, September the 20th. And we're looking so forward to getting to see so many of y'all. It's going to be such a fun day. You can go check out the link, thegreatfallgardenfestival.com, to see all of the different YouTubers and vendors that will be attending and to see all the different classes that are going to be offered. So Jean and I are definitely going to be at the event, and I'm going to have some of my salves for sale and some herbal teas and hats and our little teacups and pottery mugs, and we're going to have all kinds of different things for sale at our booth. We're hoping many of y'all can make it and come see all of us. So I've been in the kitchen all day working on making these salves. So we did the healing salve together, and I also made my muscle and joint relief salve. This one's made with the cayenne peppers. And I made the barefoot balm, which is really good for achy, tired feet. Now, my mom and father-in-law have neuropathy, and they take the barefoot balm, put it on first, and then they take the muscle and joint relief salve and put it on top of it right before they go to bed at night, and they say it really, really helps them. So Jean and I use this muscle and joint relief balm all the time for sore, aching muscles after working on the farm all day. So now that you know how to make herb-infused oils and turn it into a wonderful healing salve, I hope you give it a try, and I hope you make some yourself. But if you're not able to make it yourself, or you just want to purchase some, you can go to our shop, JUSTDIGITFARMS.com, the farm stand, and you'll find all of our products there for sale. We also have this cute new shirt design that's out. Herbs coming out of a pocket tee. These are comfort color shirts. And then on the sleeve here, we have our name, Just to Get Farms. These are the most comfortable shirts. I am a comfort color t-shirt snob. I love the feel and the look of the colors of comfort color shirts. And this design is so super cute. We also have a new hat available, and there's all kinds of beautiful things on our shop, so y'all go check that out. All right, you guys, if you learned something and you enjoyed this video, y'all please give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody that you know that might be interested in herbalism, or somebody that you think might want to learn how to make their own herbal salves. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please go over and do that right now so that you will know as soon as we put up a new video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. God bless you, and I'll see y'all next week in the garden.